All right, I think we're just a little after 11, but we're going to go ahead and start. Welcome. My name is Andrea Monroe, and I'm the Associate Director of the Service Learning Institute. And
Andrea, if I could
yeah,
say let's record this, can we?
yeah, yes, we can. Yeah,
Should I go ahead and hit record?
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
And then you can start over again?
Yes, I will. All right.
Here we go.
So good morning, almost noon, everyone. My name is Andrea Monroe. I'm the Associate Director of the Service Learning Institute, and welcome to Community Partner Outreach Week, the kickoff. And I just want to say thank you all. Thank you, students, faculty, anyone who's on this call. We know it's a really busy time. People have a lot on their minds, on their hearts, on their schedules. So we just know that this is not an easy time. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule today and hopefully throughout the week, particularly if you're interested in meeting partners directly. Behind me is the Service Learning Institute building, which is where we would all be were we not sheltered in place. My reminder that hopefully that more normal days are to come, even if it's a year from now, but at least we're here virtually. So we're gonna start by with some introductions. And actually, let me just go over the agenda. We'll do some introductions just so you can put some names to faces of SLI staff, as well as our student leaders, any student leaders who have joined us. We'll review the Community Partner Outreach Week schedule. We'll give an overview of what's possible in terms of fall service in 2020, given COVID and shelter in place. What's possible, where do you look for service sites and options, and how do you get started? We'll also review the forms that you'll need, and all of the forms are online through the MySLP database. And then, time permitting, we'll have live Q&A, but that's a reminder to me that if you could go ahead and open up your chat box, and as questions come up, please go ahead and add them to the chat, because if we don't get to them, we can double back either with you via email, or if it's a common question, make sure that we add that to our website. So let me start with just introductions. I've already told you who I am. I'm Andrea Monroe. I'm the Associate Director here at the Service Learning Institute. I work with an amazing team of people to just make service learning happen each semester on campus. I'll just call on our service learning staff so they can quickly say who they are and what they do, their role with the Service Learning Institute. So Seth, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Welcome to CPOW, our Community Partnership Opportunity Week. This is actually replacing what we would have traditionally done on the second Monday of the semester, our community partner fair, where we would have gathered in the same place and rubbed shoulders and shaken hands and not licked each other's fingers, but at least learned about each other's worlds and the community partners that have stepped up to work with you as service learners this semester. So this week we'll be doing that virtually, and we'll be learning a lot about how we can be successful in the remote virtual service space. So thanks for being here.
Renee, could you introduce yourself?
Good morning / early afternoon, everyone. This is Rene Casas. I'm the Community Partnerships and Evaluations Specialist for the Service Learning Institute. My primary role is, identifying community partners out there for y'all to do your remote service. In addition, any questions and or concerns or issues that you have coming up with your registration on my service learning placement, you can contact me. I also work with an amazing group of student assistants that are also supporting me in doing this. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I will be going over some of the forms later in this presentation. So thank you and welcome.
Okay, and speaking of amazing student assistants, Mackenzie, could you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, yeah, I'm Mackenzie Balistrieri. Like they said, I'm a MySLP student assistant at the Service Learning Institute. I'm just here to support students and community partners and faculty with any questions or anything that might come up that they need help and support with, contact me.
Thank you. Laura Lee, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Laura Lee Link, and I work with faculty, students, and partners in the College of Science. And we are having a College of Science session tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So you can meet partners there at that time, and we'll record it as well.
Thank you. And then I see one student leader, Amelie, on the call. Could you introduce yourself and where you're and the site you're working with? Oh, you're muted.
Okay,
Sorry.
sorry.
Sorry, I mispronounced Ali May. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a good weekend and the first week of school. My name is Ali Maili, and I'm the Service Center Student Leader for the Student Marine and Recreational Services. I'm a second year, major in biology.
All right. And are there any other student leaders on the call that I'm missing? Because my page is pretty busy. Any other SL squares on the call that can introduce themselves? And people may join in. All right. So again, before we just move forward, this session is being recorded and will be shared. I've gotten a lot of emails from faculty saying they're holding class right at this time or later in the week, so we will record all of these sessions. Thanks for muting yourself during today's presentation. If you have questions, please use the chat generously. And also, all of the information that we're sharing today can be found on our website in a variety of places. The Community Partner Outreach Week schedule is duplicated in a number of places, but the links here, and we'll also make sure that faculty have access to this email, the following links that you see below will take you to all of the information that we're going to share today. Just as a review, as Seth mentioned, this is the beginning of our whole week to encourage you to reach out to partners, have conversations, and this replaces the one-day tabling event that we used to do. So today the purpose of today's session is to provide some general information. At 2 o'clock, for those of you interested in meeting our K-12 partners, please join us at 2. Tomorrow, the 1st of September, can you believe it's September already, is our science, health, and tech partners that Laura Lee Link mentioned. At 2 o'clock, our youth, arts, and library partners will be joining us. On Wednesday, the 2nd, we'll have 2 sessions inviting social services and community advocacy partners. So that includes partners that deal with labor rights, legal issues, food insecurity and hunger, housing insecurity and homelessness, government options. We have Monterey County, for example, has a really exciting program called Governing for Racial Equity. And so their projects, anything that involves local government or social service or advocacy organizations, you can meet on Wednesday the 2nd at either at 11 o'clock as well as 2 o'clock. Some partners, such as the Monterey Peace and Justice Center, for example, they're coming to both. So you'll just want to check in on one or both of these sessions to see who's there. And then to round out the week, on Thursday, the 3rd of September, and Friday the 4th, this would be the Friday before Labor Day weekend, we're still here for you. If you have any questions and need drop-in support of any kind, whether it's where are those links again, or how do I register, feel free to drop in during these times on Thursday morning between 8:30 and 10:30, and again in the afternoon from 2:30 to 4:30, and then we repeat that again on Friday. Certainly, if you miss drop-in times, feel free to shoot us an email, and we're happy to also schedule a time to meet with you. So that's our schedule. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about, or we'll talk a little bit about what's possible, service in fall 2020, what is and what is not possible. And one of the themes that we shared with when we were talking about this and making plans with faculty, as well as community partners, is this theme of compassion, flexibility, and communication. It's something that we need to have for and direct to ourselves as well as to each other as we navigate a lot of uncertainty. So with that, I wanted to turn things over to Seth, if you would want to talk a little bit about this slide as well as the next slide.
Sure. So just as you all know, things are shifting constantly in terms of how we can engage with each other safely and effectively. So the campus has recently decided that because of the high level of infection of the virus that's still in our communities, the only appropriate way to do service is online through remote service. So any on-site, in-person service opportunities are not allowed this semester. We hope that things will improve for next semester, but right now that means that the way we're going to be serving each other, the way we're going to be supporting each other is through the online, remote, virtual connection. So you see in this slide, there's a few opportunities. We have received from about 50 of our community partners opportunities for remote service, and there's a spreadsheet of that, which is on the website. Each semester, about half of our students work with schools or youth organizations. And so this year we've worked to redesign that program so that you can provide service with K-12 schools in the remote setting. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We've got a number of school districts very excited to have you supporting them. As you can imagine, they're really struggling with ways to connect with youth, to keep students learning, to help students learn in the context of their homes, with busy parents, with siblings. So there's lots of opportunity for creative work in K-12 education remotely. In addition, if you live in a home where there's an opportunity to be of service right in that home, if you have siblings who are students and are needing help, if you have elders in your home who are needing support and help, you need to talk to your instructor about the extent to which those service opportunities are relevant to your course and whether they will allow you to do what we're calling service at home, okay? That will be a conversation for you as students to have with your instructors. If it's relevant to your course and if it's appropriate, they could approve that, and then you would be doing service at home. Finally, there's a number of online service hubs, online virtual volunteer hubs, where you can work around the world in all kinds of different service settings. Connecting with elders, connecting with youth, doing research, doing various kinds of online video and content analysis for different research projects. We've put together a list, a spreadsheet of a number of these virtual volunteer hubs, and that's also available on our website. And if you, again, find opportunities on those volunteer hubs that are relevant to your class, then absolutely that's appropriate. Go to the next slide. This will give you a little bit of overview of the K-12 remote service learning program. This was designed collaboratively with our Monterey County Office of Education. In Monterey County, we have 24 different school districts, everything from the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District and the Salinas Union High School District, big districts with thousands of students, to very small one school districts down in South County and San Antonio and San Ardo, etc. With the county, we've designed a program that has 3 types of service. We're calling them phases that you could serve by helping teachers designing instructional materials for them to use in their distance learning, hyperdocs, videos, different lesson planning. And there's a lot of need for that and a lot of interest amongst teachers for that. Once you pass a background check, you can go back to that slide.
Okay.
Once you pass a background check, you'll be able to work directly with students. That can only happen after you've been cleared through the background check process. So that's an important piece of the process to hold on to. And then the third phase is to be able to work after school, after class, individually and in small groups with youth in supporting their homework and their social and emotional learning and well-being, and that would be considered after class support. Again, needing a background check, and the parent permission slip would be required for that as well. Not your parent, but the students, the youth parents need to be able to sign and say, we want our students to be working with CSUMB college students as part of that program. You can go to the next slide. So just briefly, if you're interested in doing any of this work, it starts with you taking the pre-service tutor training course. And that is an online course that you would sign up for, and you would learn about safe and secure remote tutoring. You would take a mandated reporter training to make sure you're aware of issues of child abuse and neglect and what that might look like, because you'll be working in students' homes virtually with them. You'll then take an effective remote tutoring little module, and when you complete that, you will then be assigned to a district by one of our 2 field placement coordinators. The school district will then help you pass through the screening, the background check process, will help you identify a partner to be able to be a tutor team, and then you'll work closely with your host teacher to identify the kinds of work you'll be doing, the kinds of assignments you'll be following up on, and how you can support them. You can go to the next slide. So some of the school districts that have confirmed is the Alisal Union School District, Chular Union School District, the International School of Monterey, King City School District, San Antonio Union School District, and Spreckles School District. We're also, Monterey Peninsula Unified School District is also a confirmed partner in this program as well. We're working with still on the Salinas districts. More news hopefully will come from them. Just to let you know, this is all evolving very quickly. As you can imagine, schools are just starting in the last week. Their school districts are just realizing how CSUMB students might be helpful. And these programs are just getting clear and clarified, and teachers are reaching out to us and saying, boy, we could really use support from CSUMB students. So this is going to be evolving very rapidly over the next few weeks. Of course, we wish it would be all set up and ready to go and have been perfectly identified and organized for you, but this is we're doing this as these programs are evolving and as school districts are just beginning to recognize the challenges around hotspots, the challenges around curriculum, the challenges around access to information online. And the next slide, please. So this will show you just the steps that you'll have to do, and all this is listed online as well on our website. If you're interested in working with K-12, the first thing you'll need to do is to submit a request, which will help us learn about your interests, your availability, and the kinds of service that you'd most be interested in providing. You'll then take that pre-service remote tutor training. It's an online Canvas course, which takes about 5 hours, which will count towards your service hours. And once you finish that, you'll be assigned to another student as a tutor team to a district and to a school and to a host teacher. You'll then begin your live scan background check with the district. And once you've cleared that background check, you'd be able to work both synchronously, supporting the teacher when they're in class with their students, and after class, individually with the youth. And I think that's it for the K-12 remote service program. Just know that the number of sites are evolving. The number of teachers interested in participating is growing by the day.
Okay, all right. I'm going to stop screen sharing for a moment and just ask for questions. I'm trying to monitor chat on 2 different laptops, and one is lagging. So let me just kind of look and see. We had a question about pre-service tutor training hours counting towards required hours. The answer to that is yes. Once you complete training, we will reach out to you about district placement. Yes, we will make the slides available as well. You'll be able to just click on a link on the website. And
there's a question about special education.
Yeah.
There are schools, districts that have special education opportunities available as well. And if that's an interest of yours, you'll let us know that when you complete your request online.
Okay, other questions? And I'm making you a co-host, Renee. How do we pick a service learning site if we can't attend any other meetings? That's a good segue into our next part, and we'll get back to more questions. But let me go ahead and share screen again to go over a few more things. Just bear with me.
So there's a question about interested in home service with your own children. You do not have to do the mandated training for that. If you're just working at home with your children, you do not have to do the mandated training. That training is part of the risk management and safety and security requirements that the Monterey County Office of Education and CSUMB have developed when you'll be working in a public school. But if you're working at home, that's not required. There was also a question about if you're just working with a teacher, do you need to go through the training? And the answer there is no. If you're just working with the teacher individually, you do not have to go through the pre-service training.
Thanks. Okay. So getting started, questions are coming in about forms and how do you sign up, especially if you're not going to attend any of the sessions this week. That's not a problem. So the first thing that you want to do is, and this is weeks 1, we're into week 2, and even next week, this is the normal time in which, even if we were face-to-face, this is the time where your first job and most important task is to really talk with your service learning instructor and 1 or more community partners. Whichever partners you're interested in, now's the time to start reaching out, sending an email to see either coming to the meeting if you can, if not, sending them an email saying, you know, I might have missed your community partner outreach presentation, but I'd like to find out more about your organization and whether or not I could serve there. But the main thing is to get started. It starts with conversation. So you want to look at your syllabi. You want to begin by speaking with your service learning instructor. Many service learning instructors have, you know, sort of a built-in assignment where they're going to ask you, if they haven't already, to post to iLearn or to Canvas your ideas about where you think you'd like to serve. So it's really important this week and next week to have those conversations. You want to have those conversations before you actually register on MySLP and before you complete a learning agreement. So for those of you that have been super organized and have figured out, well, for example, I've already been volunteering with Marina Rec, and that's where I'm going to be, so I'm going to go ahead and fill out a learning agreement. What you want to do is clear that with your professor and check in with your partner first before you do that. And then to register your placement, when you go to the Service Learning website, and I'll show you what it will look like in a minute, you will also be able to register your placement. So, sorry about that. Going to the next slide. Actually, am I still sharing with you? Are you all seeing this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is just a shot of the Service Learning Institute page. And if you click here, first of all, you can always see our schedule for Community Partner Outreach Week. It's right here, front and center. But if you click on the student menu, what I'm about to talk about is you'll find under the Getting Started Service Learning Elements, Steps, and Forms. Also, you can also find a lot of the links that we're talking about on the COVID-19 updates and information page under students, because things are changing so rapidly. But if you click here on Getting Started, Service Learning Elements, Steps, and Forms, what you want to do is scroll down. You can, we encourage you to read these elements of a service learning experience, and no doubt you'll be talking about this in your classes as well. But to get to the nuts and bolts of what you're going to be doing, we've outlined some steps. And as I was saying earlier, the first thing that you're doing is really identifying and selecting a partner, which involves a process of reading and reflecting, like reading your syllabus and reflecting on what your interests are, you know, exploring a little bit and engaging with partners and your professor about what might be possible, asking questions, and then making a decision. After that, we encourage you to complete a draft learning agreement worksheet, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And then you'll be ready to register your site placement on MySLP. Also, just going back to this slide, if you click on either one of these links, that's where you also will see the links that Seth mentioned earlier about, we've got a clear link that says click here for remote service learning opportunities. And again, keep in mind, it's changing daily, if not every couple hours, as community partners finalize, as well as think of additional projects that they may have. So that's where you can find the links to where our current list of remote possibilities are, as well as the link to the virtual service learning options. The other thing that you will also see is, and this is something that we do encourage, is that you can also complete a short-term agreement if you have a partner that's located where you are. Perhaps you're not on the peninsula and you've identified a community organization that would allow you to partner with them. That is also possible as long as it is remote. And so we'll show you a little bit about that too. So we've got the question about forms. All of the forms that you are going to find are online. It's through MySLP. And I'll just start this off, and then I'll turn things over to Renee Casas, who is the person who does most of the troubleshooting and thinking through what needs to happen on our MySLP database so that you can access it. But the first thing you're going to do, and I'll just start with this slide, is that you want to sign into your CSUMB dashboard before you search and log into, before searching in order to log into MySLP. So your very first step is that this is where you're going to go. You'll log in, and what you should see is a screen that's got your name on it. It should list your course. Notice this is a test course, but you should see your name, you should see your course. If you don't see these two things when you log in via the dashboard, again, going back here, that should look familiar to everyone. If you don't see your name, the very next thing you want to do is to reach out to the Service Learning Institute to let us know. And actually you can do that by notifying your professor immediately, because if you're not seeing this, there's a chance that your professor is also not seeing you in their listing.
Correct.
One of the required things, you know that you will not have registered until you see this screen, which allows you to sign off the waiver of liability, and you will need to complete this. If you are under 18, you will see a box that allows you, basically you'll be asked to sort of check your age. If you happen to be under 18, this is something that then will be downloaded and printed and has to be signed by a parent or guardian. I think that's a little bit out of line. Well, let me just say that you know that you've completed your placement when you've seen this release of liability. You also know that you've completed your placement because you will see this screen that gives you your placement number, and it allows you to create a time log. I am gonna stop here and ask Renee to jump in, and Renee, you can let me know which screen you would like to show, or if you'd like to share your screen.
Yeah, so Andrea, I'm controlling the screen now.
Okay.
I'm sharing, but I just want to go ahead and let you all know, as students and faculty, that all forms are online. I have been getting students asking questions regarding PDF documents that pre-COVID were the route to go, but now everything is on My Service Learning placement or S4. So as Andrea mentioned, once you log in, you'll be able to have the opportunity to place yourself in a course. Once you do place yourself in your designed organization, or where you're going to be conducting your service learning, you'll be able to create your time log. However, I would highly encourage faculty and students to please have that conversation with the site, especially with the site supervisor, to let them know that you want to do your placement there. Please do not add your placement before talking to the organization, because if that happens, then I would have to go in and delete your placement, and you would have to add your placement again. So once you do submit your release of liability, you'll be able to finalize your placement, and you'll be placed at that site. You can create a time log. So all time logs are now online as well. Time logs were also a document that you would send to your site supervisor for signatures. So in creating a time log, you would see when you log in your placement, it would have the green button in the right-hand corner and says create a time log. You'll click on there, and you would have your time in and time out. If you notice, the calculated hours are automatically calculated. And then you would have the opportunity to write in your self-reflection and your observation. So what is it that you did for your site? Once you do fill this out, your site supervisor and your faculty of your course will be getting an email notifying them for approval of your hours. So at this moment, it's only required that your site supervisor sign for your hours. Once your site supervisor signs your hours, your faculty will be able to see exactly what it is that you did during those times. This is your learning agreement. The learning agreement is all online now. It has several areas for you to fill out that are required. Consider completing a draft, as Andrea mentioned, of your learning agreement, because once you start filling this document out, it does not save. Please be sure to have your correct email information about your SL instructor and your community partner. Your instructor's email will be automatically inputted in there because you are enrolled in the course. However, please double check and triple check that the community partner's email is correct, because once you send this email, once you filled out your learning agreement, the email is going to be sent to that email. If that is an incorrect email, then you will have to contact me, and we will have to delete your learning agreement and refill it out with the correct information. So submitted learning agreements cannot be edited. Corrections are needed. Then you'll have to start a new form. So that's why it's we're encouraging students to fill a draft one first. Tutorials on how to register and complete the forms can also be found on our SLI website under the students page on getting started and the steps. So this is an email that your faculty and your site supervisor will be getting in regards to your learning agreement, because it is required for your site supervisor and your faculty to fill it out. So this is the agreement that you're going to have, that the contract that you'll be having for this semester on how your hours are going to be conducted. So faculty, please be aware that students, once they submit their learning agreement, you'll be getting an email of their learning agreement, and you'll sign off. So this is an example of a student that conducted service learning hours this summer. So as you can see, students are now able to download this form. That's an opportunity for them to make sure that if they want to hold on to their hours, if they're going on to a, to a master's level courses, or want to enroll in school psychology, or get their, their advanced degree, they'll need to show some hours of service that they've conducted. And this is an opportunity for students to start saving their hours. So faculty, this is what you will also be seeing. If the organization or site supervisor has filled out their time log, how many hours were calculated during the student service, and status note of what the student did at that site, and a status note of the site supervisor saying any comments and or reflections on that student's service for those hours. And so these are some of the documents that we had shifted to online. We do have a student evaluation by site supervisor. If you have any questions regarding these forms, if you fill out the form and you typed in an email that was incorrect, please email me. I'll be putting my email on the chat box. That way I can go ahead and assist you. For short-term placements, I'm going to be putting a how-to guide, a link to the how-to guide on the chat. This will allow you the opportunity to know how to place your short-term agreement, and also filling out your learning agreement, because you do have to check that this is a short-term agreement for your placement. So if you have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and look at the questions that are in the chat box.
So I just noticed a question from faculty about, if you don't see your site supervisor, do you have to fill out a short-term agreement? So the answer to that is no. Again, what you want to do is when you click on the, when you go to register your site, you will see, select your site supervisor. You will also see that it says that if you can't find your supervisor, you can skip that step. So your short-term agreement is really only if if the partner is not a partner at all. But let's say you look at a placement and it's clear that, again, my particular site isn't, I see the site there, but I don't recognize any of those names, you can still register. And in fact, we ask that you just go ahead and skip that site. Other questions?
Just to on top on that issue, the agreement is really between, it's an organizational agreement. It's like an MOU. So it's between CSUMB and the County Health Department, or CSUMB and the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District, right? So that's the agreements, whether it's a long-term or short-term agreement, is really meant to be between that level, at the organizational level. It's the learning agreement is really the individual one that happens between the student and their supervisor.
Other questions? And I'm just going to quickly share my screen again, just so you know where you can find these tutorials. If you look on, again, the Service Learning website, and this is under the Student tab, this is the Getting Started Element Steps page. And if you scroll down again, here's our schedule for this week, and as soon as this week is over, that will come off. But you can quickly see, and if you click on the links, you can join any of the meetings as they happen in real time. And then for here, what we've been talking about, If you click on step 3, register your SL site placement on MySLP S4, the last bullet point explains you know that your registration is complete after you've done these things, and here's the links to instructions. So if you click here on how to register your placement, it'll immediately take you to this PowerPoint that you can either view this way or download, and it includes information including what was asked. Sorry to kind of scroll down really fast, but this question about what if I don't see my site supervisor, we tell you right here, just click NA, and that way you can keep going. So all of this information, again, you can find here on the student page in terms of where the tutorial is. We've also included a link on the faculty page of these tutorials. There's also a tutorial on how to do the short-term agreement for those of you that are signing up a brand new partner, as well as instructions on how to set up and enter data in your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Let me open up the chat real fast.
And so for the students that are thinking of doing a your placement, helping out a sibling, your placement would be a short-term agreement placement. You'll fill out your MySLP would be a SL short-term fall 2020, and then you would put in the information that you will be adding your supervisor, somebody from your household or yourself, and that's how you would complete it. The same thing with your learning agreement. You would add either family member or yourself as a site supervisor, but just make sure that you have this communication with your faculty, and your faculty is aware of what you're going to be doing for your placement.
I see another question from a liberal studies student, and it said email the certificate to Alma. If for liberal studies students, that sounds like that would be the correct instructions, because she's the coordinator for that program. So you just want to follow the guidelines that pertain to your program. Other questions?
I want to say that if you should talk to your community partner first before you fill out this form, because they might already be filled. They might have no places for you, and you'd have to start over the form again. So you need to know that you could go to that particular site first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Hester asked a question: if a student is working with the site that is in the database, but the supervisor isn't listed because they are a different department, do they sign up with the site anyways or fill out a short-term agreement for the new supervisor? So Hester, my answer to that would be that the student would sign at that site. However, they have an opportunity to add a new site supervisor to their placement. So for students, that if you have a communication of a new site supervisor within the program that you want to serve at that is a community partner, and they have a new site supervisor, please fill in their information. As you know, organizations are going through transitions very rapidly, and all the information that you can input for your site supervisor or the person that you're talking to that's going to be filling out your documents would be greatly appreciated.
Sorry, did you say you want them to fill it out on the database? Like, how would you,
So when a student selects an organization, it's going to come up to like, oh, select your site supervisor. There's going to be a list of site supervisors that are currently in our database. If the site supervisor that the student has been talking to is not on the list, they'll be able to add their information. It says new site supervisor, and they'll add their information on there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm curious, are there any partners on the call right now? I know this was a gathering for students and faculty, but if there are any partners, come say hello if you happen to be here.
Go ahead, Laura Lee. Yeah.
Okay. Not only do I work for Service Learning, I'm also the director of Return of the Natives Restoration Education Project. And we have about 25 virtual projects, remote projects, from things like doing hyperdocs, which are classroom lessons, to setting up geocaches, to doing, being the editor of our YouTube channel. So we have a lot of opportunities. And so each one of the partners are trying to figure out things themselves. And for sure, you are more tech savvy and remote savvy than most of the partners. So your service will be very, very muchly appreciated.
Are there other partners, including SL2s representing a site that wants to talk a little bit about what kinds of things students might be doing remotely? Any other partners?
I mean, I could speak for Everyone's Harvest. I'm not the director, but I don't have the information right away. But Everyone's Harvest runs local farmers markets and community food programs, and we'll be needing to figure out how to do virtual cooking classes and video. So again, tech savvy students who are interested in participating virtually with our programming would be very welcome. Okay. We should have that information by tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks, Hester, for jumping in. Again, I just can't emphasize enough. You'll want to click on that link. You know, if you're a student searching for a site, I would suggest, you know, visit the website once or twice a day, click on that link that says click here for remote opportunities, and check it frequently, because partners are still sending in information or tweaking the information, and so we'll keep it updated. So what you see today, there might be more tomorrow, so keep checking. And again, the reminder is this week and next week is when people are really looking and finalizing. I think part of the nature of working remotely is sometimes feeling that pressure of like, oh wait, I should have turned in everything now. This is the week where you're looking and exploring. So I see a lot of questions of like, is it okay to go to the school district talk today without having my forms filled out or without having done my training? Perfectly okay. You know, it's an opportunity for you to just get to hear which K-12 partners are there and what kinds of opportunities they have. So just know, no one is late yet, unless you happen to have a professor who said, oh, all your forms should have been in yesterday, which I doubt seriously. You're not late, you're not behind. This is the week to just do that exploring and hear as many partners as you can. Also know that for some of you, I would doubt for many of you, your professors may also be inviting your partners to come speak in the class. There was also a great question about, like, if I'm unable to come to one of the visits, how do I talk to them? Do I just use the list provided by our professor and email them? Absolutely. So that's when you click on that spreadsheet that says click here for remote opportunities, it gives you pretty much everything that you need. The name of the organization, the contact person, and their email. And it also talks about, you know, basically how you can get, and then you can take it from there. Send them an email, introduce yourself, and explain that, you know, perhaps you missed the meeting, perhaps you saw the recording, but you still have some questions. I see that Ali May is joined us. Do you want to say a little bit about what service learners can do at your site, Ali
Yeah,
May?
of course, yes. So for this fall term, so again, my site is Marina Recreation, and so for this fall term, we have our kids virtual camps, and that includes like activities like health and fitness, education and art, like a bunch of challenges that they will be doing remotely, such as like marathons or sports like that, and also our programs serve youth starting at the age of 5, and we go all the way up to senior. And for senior, we have like activities like yoga to really help them keep them like healthy and engaged during this time. And we also have like food programs that they can also come to get food, and like if you like feel comfortable like doing your service at the site, like helping out distribute the food, you can also do that. For our kids, we also have like tutoring, so whatever subjects you're comfortable in, we can help you find the right people to tutor. And also we welcome any like ideas that you want to bring to the space. So if you want to like do a poem workshop or anything that would just kind of, make your service learning experience more meaningful, we're more than welcome to make that happen for you. And I think that's about it. Yeah. And well, also right now, I guess we're looking for anyone who can help us build create a site for a teen skate park. So and that one you don't need to get your live scan done like immediately because you'll be working with the staff. But then like later on when you work with the kids and stuff like that, you need to complete your background check before you can do that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Other questions? I'm putting the link to the spreadsheets of remote service. You can find them on the student page and the faculty page under COVID updates. I'll also add the link in other places, as many places I can think of. Other questions? Any other questions? And I guess because people are muted, we really can't hear grumbling stomachs. It is lunchtime. Maybe this gives everybody at least 5 minutes to grab a snack before they move on to their next Zoom meeting. But any other questions or comments or just thoughts about the service learning process and finding things? All right. Well, if not, we just want to thank everyone for coming. And again, we'll make sure that we'll put the slides and the recorded version of this in a folder, send a link out, add the link to the website so you can access it. And for those of you, we know everybody's got really busy schedules, but if you can make it, check out the schedule throughout the week. And this afternoon at 2 o'clock is an opportunity to meet the K-12 partners who were able to attend today. So even if they're not there, it doesn't mean they don't have a placement. This is just the time that we've allotted for you to meet K-12 partners in real time. Tomorrow morning at 11, and if you can just kind of remember, although it's on the slides, the meeting the community partners happens for the next 3 days at 11 a.m. and at 2 p.m. So at 2 p.m. today are teachers and school placements. Tomorrow at 11 are science placements. Tomorrow at 2 is youth and arts and the library. And again, if you look on our website, starting at the front page and throughout, you can see the entire schedule. And there'll be enough of us staff online that someone will remember to record the meetings. I'm usually the worst at remembering, but it'll happen. And with that, and also, again, if you have any other questions and can't make meetings, feel free to just send an email to servicelearning@CSUMB if you want to make an appointment to talk with anyone.
Hey, Andrea, why don't we put on the montage of community partners saying hello?
Oh, that would be great.
As a finish.
Who can have it? Who can access it the fastest?
I can get it.
Okay.
One participant, but can I share my screen?
I think you're a co-host.
Okay. What a messy screen.
Yeah, we do have Flipgrids are coming in. Our community partners are just like you, hanging in, being flexible, trying to figure out what they can offer, but then also like making it available, talking about it. So they are sending in Flipgrid videos where you can see a little bit and meet partners and see a little or hear a little bit about, what they have to offer. And yes, I see the question, are we still taking faculty Flipgrid videos? We thought it would be a nice thing to add to the community partner page so our partners can put names to faces. So when you've got some downtime, haha, and you or just feel like relaxing, like, oh, it would be relaxing to make a 90-second video, feel free to do that. All right. And here's just a little bit of what some of our partners have shared. And I'm going to.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Kenneth Olson. I am Get Virtual CSUMB's branch student co-founder and president. At Get Virtual, our mission is to help small businesses move online and improve their financial situation through and beyond COVID-19. Through this program and now as we expand into CSUMB, we are creating a revolution of student entrepreneurs like us that can help integrate impactful technology into these local business operations while simultaneously giving back to the community.
Hi, my name is Stacey from Youth Now, and Youth Now is a nonprofit after-school center located in Watsonville. We offer free tutoring to both middle and high school students.
Hello, my name is Tammy Stolzenthaler, and I'm representing the City of Watsonville Public Works and Utilities Department. I run the Public Works Conservation Academy, which is a unique program that provides opportunities for our local youth here in Watsonville.
Hi, service learners. My name is Danina, or my students call me Miss C. I'm teaching 12th grade, 4 subjects. I have civics, economics, an ELD class, and drawing and painting too. So I am very excited and interested if there are any service learners that are interested in working with students from diverse communities or that are historically underserved, and that are also maybe interested in being a teacher or have an expertise in or are studying one of the subjects that I mentioned. So
Hi, my name is Laura Lee Link, and I'm the director of Return of the Natives Restoration Education Project. Our mission is to bring nature to people and people to nature through hands-on experiences in restoring habitats and in environmental education.
Hi, my name is Ashley Bridges. I am the director of Pajaro Valley Loaves and Fishes. I am also a graduate of CSUMB 2006, and I'd love to tell you more about our organization. We are a food pantry and lunch program open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And our mission is to alleviate hunger in the Pajaro Valley and the greater Santa Cruz County.
Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Hart. I'm a biologist for the Bureau of Land Management on Fort Ord National Monument. Fort Ord National Monument is that giant space of open public land that sits just behind CSUMB. My agency is a federal agency, and we work to manage oak woodland communities, maritime chaparral communities, and grassland communities. Right now, we're mainly working teleworking, and a thing that you could do as a service learner and help us manage this land is helping us with some of our GIS projects, some of our goat grazing statistical research, helping us organize some of our habitat restoration files and make sense of all the data that we have and start getting them ready into reports. We could go the interpretive route, where you could help us make interpretive booklets. How do I ID certain plants, doing instructions, doing safety assessments. Really, the sky's the limit.
Hi all, my name is Natalie. I am the community organizer with Regeneración Pajaro Valley Climate Action. We are a small climate justice organization based out of Watsonville. Our mission is to help our community adapt and flourish as we deal with the climate crisis. I encourage you to check out our website to see a little bit more about the specific work that we do. But we are looking for service learners to help with our outreach. So that'll be a lot of social media, if you do any photography, creating infographics, or helping us with organizing online events.
Hi, my name is Dion Ibarra. I'm the founding director of the Wahine Project. We've been working with service learning students for about 8 years. Our organization, our mission is to eliminate the barriers that prevent a diversity of youth from a relationship with the ocean. And we do that by bringing kids from all over Monterey County to the beach. We provide them with wetsuits and surfboards and boogie boards and give them everything they could ever imagine to develop this relationship with the ocean in the effort to help take care of it. And so our opportunities for service learners involve you working directly with us on the beach and being on the beach and playing and being in the ocean, and playing alongside the kids and helping us make sure that they're safe.
Hey everybody, my name is Stephen Rayo. I am the bilingual education specialist with Save the Whales. We've worked with service learners in the past. I myself am a previous service learner, and it's always been an amazing experience to work with you guys. This year we're actually going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be needing your help sort of more behind the scenes. We're going to need your help with increasing our social media presence. That means writing fun facts about sea animals or researching new articles that we can use on our websites. And we're actually going to be doing a couple of videos for the city and for students in schools throughout the county, teaching them how to protect the ocean or storm drain pollution. We're also going to be doing trash pickups, so you're going to be helping us organize those trash pickups and doing data collection, tabulating the data within an app.
Greetings, my name is John Fisher. I work with Life Lab. We're based in Santa Cruz, a 40-year-old nonprofit that cultivates children's love of learning healthy food and nature through garden-based education. We're looking for service learning partners to help us build a website of the most robust collection of resources to create and sustain school gardens. We also are looking for someone to help us identify and create a user-submitted searchable photo database for garden-based educators across the country.
Hi, CSUB student learning students. I'm Ellen Martin, and I am the director of First Night Monterey, and I'm all alone today, so I don't need my mask. But wanted to tell you that we're a nonprofit arts organization, 27 years, bringing the community together to celebrate our cultural diversity through the arts.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Marcos and I'm Operations Manager at Marine Life Studies. Marine Life Studies is committed to protecting our ocean, whales, dolphins, and other marine wildlife through research, education, conservation, and whale rescue. We are looking for 6 CSUMB service learners for the fall 2020 semester.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Gaines and I am a teacher at Oasis Charter School in Salinas. I am teaching 6th grade this year. It is my 3rd year at Oasis, and before this I have actually taught kinder and then a kinder 1st grade combo here. So I'm doing a pretty big jump. It'll be an interesting year. This is my classroom. I can kind of show you guys. That's what my classroom looks like for right now. Distance learning ready. What I would need from service learners is really just student support. This is still so new to them, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible. But a lot of the kids here do need a lot of one-on-one support, or they don't like asking questions. So I really would like to build a great relationship with them, and we could use all the help we can get to really support these kids with their academic work.
Greetings, Monterey Bay. My name is Dr. Ivy Bonk. I am the founder at Rethink Learning. Rethink Learning was established, it's a nonprofit established for interrupting inequity in our education system. At Rethink Learning, we have a solution to help redefine education, and it's a 4-tiered framework called Grounded Learning. Now, if you have a heart for justice, as we do, we are absolutely interested in talking to you about some opportunities. We have options for creatives and both analyticals. If you want to build out social media content, you have a knack for videography. You can do some explainer video scripts.
Hi, my name is Lee Holquist. I'm with Dorothy's Place in Salinas. We are a nonprofit that serves people experiencing homelessness and extreme poverty. We provide 2 hot meals every day. We have a drop-in center every day. And we also have a team of staff that are working with people individually to find and secure housing. We accept everyone as they are and a very welcoming environment. If you would like to check out our website, you will see videos of our operation, and also you can review our COVID safety plan and policy.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex and I am the manager at the Monterey Peace and Justice Center that's located in Seaside. We are a local nonprofit that serves to promote peace, social justice, democracy, sustainability in our community. And we have a couple of programs that are running, but the main one that we are focusing on during the pandemic is our virtual English language classes.
Hello, CSUMB students. This is Will Franzel. I'm the Educational Administrator of Science at the Monterey County Office of Education. Welcome to the 2020-21 school year. And I just wanted to do a quick Flipgrid introduction and introduce the Alisal Union School District. I taught there for 12 years, so it's close to my heart. And they have 12 different schools in their district and serve TK through 6th grade students. So the service opportunities that are going to be available in the fall semester are going to include supporting our teachers in Alisal with high quality science instruction. And we'll be using Twig Science as our instructional materials.
Hello, my name is Megan Mason, and I am an environmental education specialist for the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District. Our mission is to acquire and maintain open space in the district for preservation and use, working with partners in the community for public benefit, enjoyment, and environmental protection. Some of our outdoor spaces include Garland Ranch and Pablo Corona Regional Parks.
Okay, and I think that is our last video.
That was it.
So, and someone asked, do we have access to the video? So I just added the links to this montage video, and then we've also created a Google Doc that lists all the videos as they come in by category, arts, after school. So just, I would say wait about 20 or 30 minutes for the links to load on the faculty page, and you can then also show these in your classes. Any other questions? So thanks for hanging out a couple minutes after lunch, and hopefully all this information is helpful. Hopefully it helps clarify what is and isn't possible. But I just also, again, want to echo what Seth is saying. Things are changing as we're all living it and experiencing it. Things are just changing by the moment. And what we hope is one of the big changes that comes is that more partners join on as they, determine what remote service that they have and can provide. And just, stay tuned as the area landscape changes and shifts around COVID-19. Rest assured that service learning will also change and shift as well. So thank you again. And if you're interested in K-12 partnerships, come back at 2 o'clock. We'll be here.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, and thanks, everyone.
Should we stop recording?
Yeah, we should stop recording.
Okay.
And I don't know how to remove me.
Stop recording. Okay.
Maybe I can leave here. Leave there. Okay. Now I'm just here.
You know, Andrew, a lot of those questions we could pull and make an FAQ. You know, just generically, there's a lot of, it gave us a lot of insight into what kind of things are unclear or what we can be clearer about.
Yeah. Cindy, Nellie, Nicole, and Janet, we don't want to bore you with our internal discussion, so feel free to sign off.
We're going to put you in a waiting room.
Or yeah, that's what we can do. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So yeah, I just copied the chat to go through that. Yeah, other things.
And where do we, I guess we should, I saw that those spreadsheets aren't available on the student page. So we should put all those spreadsheets on the student page as well as the link to the Flipgrid videos.
Yeah, yeah, because the links for the students are on the COVID-19 update page. So yeah, let me move those or add them also to the student.
So they're on the faculty page, but they're not on the student page, are they?
Well, on the student page, they're under the COVID-19, the first link.
Yeah, under the COVID updates.
19, they're on that page, but they're not on the Steps to Service Learning page where a lot of students might go.
I don't see them on that page.
On the student, if you scroll, I think it's on the COVID-19 update page.
I click here for remote service opportunities. Okay, but we don't have the virtual one there either.
Oh, it's not? I thought I had linked those all. Okay. Oh, now I can't. Why am I not getting into it? Sorry, I need to close out some stuff. Oh, I see what's happening.
I mean, it might be nice to just have a separate, you know, to separate these out a little bit so that there's a piece around partners, there's a piece around the process.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for this after, yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to get a quick lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Yeah, anything for this afternoon is there anything in particular that you need or thought of as a result, or you just, I mean, yeah.
I guess we'll just use that similar slideshow to begin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that's available, and then have the partners introduce themselves in each talk.
Yeah.
Right.
And then take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the interesting things, the challenges, and we talked about this a little bit, Renee, is you know, how much say do students have in the remote K-12 process, right? You know, like we ask them their preferences. We ask them, there's another place where they can tell us what else do we need to know to give them a good placement, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we should really just encourage them to, if they have a specific school or a specific teacher or something that they really want to do, like the special ed, you know, it's just how do we not get that how do we not lose that information?
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit different than the others in that we're going to place them, you know, they're not choosing it.
Right. Yeah. Now, did Joanne Lieberman ask you about a student who's not on the peninsula that wants to do a short-term agreement with a teacher?
No.
No, okay, because she asked me and we talked about it and I said, I think it's going to be difficult because the teacher might say yes, but then quickly realize they've got to get all kinds of district clearances that they may not be prepared to do. So that's kind of how we left it. But I just want to know if she asked either of you any more follow-up about is or isn't it possible?
Well, I guess, just for us, for example, we had Robert Down Elementary, which is an elementary school in PG Unified, having signed an agreement, UAPS, when we didn't have one with the district, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, if some teacher wants to sign off and do a short-term agreement, let's not get in their way.
That's what I was thinking, because part of me was like, it could be a private school. It could be like if that teacher's feeling like I know I got the back of my principal, and who are we to say no? Yeah, okay. All right.
So let's encourage, if that's the way they're going to do it. And if there's a teacher, the teacher might say, oh, I can't sign this. Or the teacher might just say, oh, I'm signing, let's go.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. Well, see everybody at 2.
So where did the recording, when we leave, the recording is going to come, and we'll get that put back up onto the website, right?
Yeah, it goes to your folder. Like, did you record to the cloud or to your computer?
My computer.
Yeah, it's going to go to a folder that you're going to have to do a search for, because I realized I completely forgot to dig out the one from last week. I got to find it. But yeah, you have to find it, rename it, and then
Got it.
I'm just going to put it in the Google Drive.
And then we have to, in order to link it, you have to upload it to YouTube,
right?
And get it closed captioned.
Closed captioned, yeah. So, yeah, I was hoping Alicia might be available to help just do all that, but I think she's still settling it on her schedule. But let me see. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. See everybody
Yeah,
at 2.
all right. See you
Good
soon.
job.
All right. Bye-bye.